Can you hear?
I can.
Okay. Hi, Secretary Wyman. My name is Annie Krausen, and I am an 8th grader at Open Window School in Bellevue. And my question is, as the Secretary of State, you have many important jobs and a lot to juggle. And how do you prioritize different needs of the state at a time like this? And what have you specifically been working on during this crisis?
Oh, that is a great question. Thank you, Annie. Wow, that is all I've been doing for the last month and a half is answering exactly that question. Let me give you context of what my world has been for the last 6 weeks or so. On February 28th or so, we started worrying about COVID, how it was going to impact the presidential primary at that time, and what happens if we had to go into a lockdown. My office has about 300 employees across 27 locations across Washington. And we had to start figuring out back then how we were going to move all of those employees to remote working. And just as all of you have had to do and try to figure out how you're going to do school and go to class and do all of the studying you need to do over, essentially over the internet or, old-fashioned books and paper that your teachers give you to take home, we've been doing the same types of things here in the office. And the first thing that we had to do is look at all of the things that we perform in our day-to-day duties and figure out which ones are essential. And that's kind of a legal definition in some ways, because as you see now that we are in the stay-at-home, stay healthy order, and all of us are having to be at home, it really comes down to, is the job that you do something that's essential for the health and the safety of the state? And in our case, we need to continue to conduct elections. So I talked a lot about that. But we also, in my corporations and charities division, we have businesses and nonprofits every day that need to file their business paperwork and become a registered charity, for example, in our state. And you would think on some ways we would just be able to just hold those for a while and do them when all of this passes. The problem is those businesses and those charities need money now. And many of them are applying for loans. They're going to their banks or their credit unions to get small business loans, or nonprofits are doing very similar things. And they have to prove to the bank that they exist and that they have a business license in our state, that they're an active registered owner or registered business. And so we can't stop doing that processing. So we're doing things like, how do we continue that business? And luckily, we've really tried in the last couple of years to modernize our office and our operations. So in the elections and corporations area in particular, we now have technology that allows our customers to do most things online. Not elections, not voting, but a lot of the day-to-day stuff. So it's a tough thing, but we started early, and I think it put us in a good position to be able to continue to do our businesses. So of my 300 employees or so, I would say 99% of them are working from home right now. And right now, the only service we've stopped providing is in-person customer service. So I'm really proud of that. My staff and my crew has worked really hard to make sure that we're taking care of you. And I think to finalize my long answer to your question is, we're always looking at what we believe the citizens and the residents of this state are looking for and what they want. And that's what drives our decision making, is how do we serve you? Because at the end of the day, I always ask fourth graders when they come to my office, who's my boss? Who do I report to? And they'll say the governor, lieutenant governor, the legislature. And the answer to the question is the people. And I know you all know that watching, because I know you're all very good at civics, but ultimately you're my boss. So that's kind of how we approach work here, is how do we best serve the people of Washington State?